The MP40 is likely the most recognizable German small arm in cinema, even ahead of the Kar 98K rifle, despite the Kar 98K being issued at a 10-to-1 ratio to the MP40 within the German military. The MP40 always stands out in cinema due to its unique look and often dramatic use. It can be often hard to spot the difference at quick glance between the MP40 and MP38, which are both widely used in film, and that's okay because there is little difference. The MP40 was a simplification of the MP38, using more stamped steel parts, the biggest difference being noticed at the factory producing them and not by the soldiers using them in the field. Sometimes you may hear an MP40 referred to as a Schmeiser, named after Hugo Schmeiser, who originally designed the first mass-produced machine pistol in Germany. But this is an incorrect nickname, as Hugo Schmeiser had no hand in the design of the MP40, so avoid this moniker, unless, of course, you are looking to upset the Germans.
But beware, we Germans aren't all smiles and sunshine.
Ooh, the Germans are mad at me. I'm so scared. Ooh, the Germans!
In cinema, the MP40 is seen virtually everywhere, which is accurate. The MP40 was distributed throughout the Wehrmacht, with armored and mechanized units first to use the submachine gun in numbers, with the MP40 growing in usage throughout the army steadily from 1940 onwards.
Cut!
The MP40 was particularly valued at Stalingrad, when the Germans found themselves outgunned in close combat urban fighting, coming across entire enemy platoons of Soviet troops armed with PPSH-41 submachine guns. Submachine guns were valued both by the Russians and Germans, and it was not uncommon to see either side using what they could find, as shown here in the film Stalingrad from 1993. Though the MP40 would continue to be desired and produced in high numbers, with 1.1 million produced during the war, Germany never viewed the MP40 the same way the Soviets did their submachine guns. Rather than forming squads of submachine gunners, such as the Russians did, Germany primarily issued MP40s to squad leaders, in line with their doctrine of offensive warfare. By giving a squad leader a short-range weapon, this encouraged squadrons to close the distance on enemy positions. Despite being an overall well-received weapon, the MP40 tactically would be overshadowed in favor of the STG-44, a perceived wonder weapon, considered the first assault rifle in history. Though the German army would see limited squads of MP40s, squads or assault groups of STG-44s would in theory have the winning firepower.
It's not perfected yet.
So is the MP40 a good weapon? Well, in cinema, it's probably perceived as one of the most inaccurate weapons ever created. However, this was an accurate and reliable weapon with an effective firing range up to 200 meters. For a submachine gun, it had reasonable stopping power, slightly less than the larger American Thompson submachine gun. The rate of fire was also considered ideal at 5 to 550 rounds a minute. The recoil was highly controllable, and infantry were taught to fire both from the sights, as almost never shown in cinema, and from the hip while on the move.
Los, geh doch! Was zum Teufel machst du? Vorwärts! Geh doch!
The sights on the MP40 are so rarely used in Hollywood, but doing so in a controlled burst was still the ideal method of firing this weapon, despite the ammunition being both cheap and light. The MP40 used the same 9mm ammunition that was standard in German army pistols, so it was easy to carry extra ammunition, particularly compared to the Thompson submachine gun, which used a larger .45 ACP round, which gave slightly more stopping power, but with a trade for increased recoil and a heavier load.
Champagne.
So why are weapons like the MP40 almost never fired from sights on film? While it's an unfortunate side effect of actors looking for physical cues, as sights are designed to focus your vision, a frustration for many actors. Another standard practice was firing the weapon with the stock deployed. Again, a rare thing on film, but I'm not going to argue with Clint.
Broadsword calling Danny Boy.
Hollywood has most certainly given the MP40 a spray and pray reputation. What is frequently debated is the way the MP40, more than any other weapon, is held in the movies. It's almost always gripped by the magazine.
Dr. Jones. Yes?
Interestingly, this was actually a common method for the MP38 and MP40, though would be discouraged due to the potential stress it placed on the magazine. There are numerous examples of this weapon being used during the war by holding it from the magazine, behind the well, and in front of the well, so I'd likely say it came down to personal preference. So were there any downsides to the MP40? Well, it was reliable, but had a few features that were not. The folding metal stock was great for a compact design, but wasn't entirely durable. The charging handle, which also acted as a safety, was not safe. It could be snagged and cause an accidental discharge of the weapon. The MP40 also had a single feed magazine, which was more prone to friction issues and subsequent feed malfunctions, with the tendency to use the magazine as a grip, slightly compounding this problem.
Lass die Hände oben! Hände höher!
Overall, for the weapon's cost, weight, and controllable recoil, the MP40 was a success in every theater of war for the German army, receiving its most praise amongst mechanized infantry, paratroopers, and those fighting in urban settings. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching this quick amateur brief on the MP40 and some of the movies it was featured in. Feel free to expound on anything I mentioned in the comment section below.
Hier nicht.